why they don't use cabooses? Well, let's find out. Why they use EOTs? We'll find out. The question. So the first question, and usually steam locomotives have cabooses, and they don't have any air hoses with air brakes. Conductors will have to get in the caboose, and brakemans. They don't have any air brakes. They'll have to use a handbrake, and they use that, but they don't use that. Then when the steam locomotives have air brakes, and they don't have any couplings, they only have old couplings, and they don't have any air hoses, they'll have to use handbrakes. But they went through the year, they use the freight locomotives of diesel, F7s, SD40s, use these cabooses, have air brakes. You don't need a handbrake them. But cabooses of the back is called EOT. But they're not automatically. But they can't use a SD40s-2 and F7s don't have EOTs. But in the year they have EOT devices. But in this year, actually I'm sorry, the other years later, they had to have brakemans and conductors on cabooses. And trains can't usually use that EOT automatic in the back of the caboose. The brakeman also, they have radios. And also, if the engineer is having problems, the engineer will contact the brakeman. Then the brakeman will automatically throw the latch into the emergency. This is why the trains will stop in the back. But in the next year, BNSF, all companies, BNSF, Union Pacific, Norfolk Southern, CN, CSX, use EOTs. And CSX, you need to practice more safety signals on your safety. They will need EOTs all the time. BNSF, if they don't have a locomotive in the back, they'll have to use an EOT, like this one. What does the EOT blinking mean? People say, oh, it's for the train can tell it's the end of the train. The red blinking means it's working. And the EOT can automatically stop. If the air hose is uncoupled, it should work. It should do that. Do its job to stop the back of the train. If case emergency, the train had lost the front brakes, they would, because the heavy weight, they would do is throw that EOT and throw that to stop. But why they had to use EOTs? In Cajon Pass in California, they'll need EOTs. They need new locomotives. So they can get past Cajon Pass. But F7s, and they don't want to use F7s anymore. They don't use F7s, F9s, F3s, E9s anymore. Because they're not good locomotives. They're way too old. And they're not good brakes. And they're not fully brakes. And wherever you have the independent on that F7 or which train, it's only 42 BC of 42. But they decided to add new locomotives of diesel electric locomotives. And they go to 72 BC. And EOTs are for stopping your train in the back. If if you're having problems in Cajon Pass, if you're going downhill on a 2.2 downhill grade in Cajon Pass, they will need EOTs in case for emergency, so they don't get in accidents. Like Cajon Pass, they got an SD40 that year ago. A Southern Pacific crash in Cajon Pass. But you had to watch the other video. But I don't have the video for it. You can watch the other channel videos. They use EOTs. Conductor would have to be in the back. They had to hook up the EOT, make sure it works. Then the conductor had to test the EOT, and the conductor had to test the EOT, and the engineer would have had to respond to tests and do the ID code. So if it says arm now, it needs to be armed, so it's ready to go. So if you're on a 2.2, like if you're going downhill grade, where the system fails, that's a problem. If EOT fails, EOT fails. That's a problem. So that's it for today. That's the end of the story. This is why they don't use cabooses anymore. This is why they use EOTs for a day.